The Synthesis of Yoga, Chapter 4, The Perfection of the Mental Being. When we thus draw back into the soul, we find ourselves to be not the mind, but a mental being who stands behind the action of the embodied mind, not a mental and vital personality. Personality is a composition of nature, but a mental person, Manomaya Purusha, we become aware of a being within who takes a stand upon mind for self-knowledge and world knowledge and thinks of himself as an individual for self-experience and world experience, for an inward action and an outward going action, but is yet different from mind, life, and body. The sense of difference from the vital actions and the physical being is very marked. For although the Purusha feels his mind to be involved in life and body, yet he is aware that even if the physical life and body were to cease or be dissolved, he would still go on existing in his mental being. But the sense of difference from the mind is more difficult and less firmly distinct. But still it is there. It is characterized by any or all of three intuitions in which this mental Purusha lives and becomes by them aware of his own greater existence.
वेन डायग्राम याद आ रहा है मेरे को जो इट्स लाइक दैट पुरुषा he says no who stands behind but a mental being who stands behind the action of embodied mind not a mental and vital personality is a composition of nature but a mental person. Yeah, this one takes a stand. We become aware of a being within who takes his stand upon mind, that as if like that वो जो होता है ना एरिया जो वेन डायग्राम में कवर्ड है ओवरलैप है, so that as if that stand upon the mind for self knowledge and world knowledge and thinks of himself as an individual for self experience and world experience. So although he is beyond everything, more than the little mind and the little body, but he's as if taking a stand or indulging in that for self knowledge and world knowledge and for this individual experience, for an inward action and outgoing action, but is yet different from mind, life, and body. So engaged everywhere and yet beyond all of that engagement, mind, life, and body. And although the Purusha feels his mind to be involved in the mind, life, and in life and body, yet he is aware that even if the physical life and body were to cease or be dissolved, he would still go on existing in his mental being.
For the first time, I'm really liking the word aware. Like if somebody would ask me that, do you know? I would like, yes, I've heard. I'm aware of it. But if you ask me, do you know? No seems more, right, solid. But aware seems I'm aware of the fact कि हाँ ऐसा होता है. So, again, he's aware. And नीचे वाले में भी आप देखो ना, Purusha lives and becomes by then aware of his own greater existence. सबसे last line में, aware, I will say yes, I'm aware. But so it, nice word. I mean, of course, and it's his word. It can't be just light. So becomes by them aware of his own greater existence.
Yeah.
And even this thing about not the personality, because we get too engrossed in the personality.
Yeah.
Not
Not a mental.
element.
Yes, very true. Yeah. I think at other places we have also heard the word n- n- wanting to say that it's not a personality, impersonality. है ना? It's an impersonality.
Yeah. And even this is interesting, because say when I was in the tunnel, the mind seemed to be just as it is right now. उसमें भी कुछ letting go होता होगा, maybe a bit later. So when it's said, कि although it is there and yet it's so difficult to step back from the mind. because ऐसा लगता है यही तो हूँ. उसी के थॉट्स याद है, एक्शंस याद है, माइंड को ही तो याद है ना. मतलब that oneness is much more there in the mental thinking domain and या feeling भी होगा ही. I don't know if that's what it meant or something else altogether, but that's what it happening. Sense of difference from the mind is more difficult.
What Kabir ji, one of the Dohas, he says, Maya Mari na man mara. And that's what he's saying. But the sense of difference from the mind. So, mind can observe thought, feelings. And okay, I see that I am different from feelings. I see that I am different from the body. But how is this seeing different from the seeing? So that's what he's saying. That the sense of difference from the vital actions and the physical being is very marked. But the sense of difference from the mind is more difficult and less firmly distinct. But still, it is there. It is characterized by any or all of three intuitions in which this mental Purusha lives and becomes by them aware of his greater existence. Yeah, I don't know about these three intuitions. Maybe it will come. Yeah. Yeah, he's saying, sharing.
Okay, great. Should we move on?
Huh.
So first, he has the intuition of himself as someone observing the action of the mind. It is something which is going on in him, and yet before him, I'll restart. First, he has the intuition of himself as someone observing the action of the mind. It is something which is going on in him and yet before him as an object of his regarding knowledge. This self-awareness is the intuitive sense of the witness Purusha, Sakshi. Witness Purusha is a pure consciousness who watches nature and sees it as an action reflected upon the consciousness and enlightened by that consciousness, but in itself other than it. To mental Purusha, nature is only an action, a complex action of discriminating and combining thought, of will, of sense, of emotion, of temperament and character, of ego feeling, which works upon a foundation of vital impulses, needs, and cravings in the conditions imposed by the physical body. But it is not limited by them, since it can not only give them new directions and much variation, refining and extension, but is able to act in thought and imagination and a mental world of much more subtle and flexible relations.
Yeah, sorry. Too many things going around.
Now feel free
Yeah,
to pause whenever there is something,
yeah.
जैसे we can stop.
So इसको पूरा ही ले लेते हैं, आप ये पूरा ले लो, then we'll go over it again.
ठीक
है
है.
ना?
But also there is an intuition in the mental Purusha of something larger and greater than this present action in which he lives, a range of experience of which it is only a frontal scheme or a narrow superficial selection. By this intuition, he stands upon the threshold of a subliminal self with a more extended possibility than the superficial mentality opens to his self-knowledge. The large and greatest intuition is an inner awareness of something which he more essentially is, something as high above mind as mind is above the physical life and body. The inner awareness is his intuition of a supramental and spiritual being.
आई थिंक ये तो ऐसा लगता है कि अभी तो मतलब इन मोस्ट ऑफ आवर टाइम्स we are not even here मतलब as a human being it seems that this self awareness is like a basic, you know, why are we human? You know, but this also comes in time. Just a second. मतलब अभी वही जैसे श्री अरविंदो कहते हैं ना, अभी तो एनिमल मैन ही चल रहा है। पहले एनिमल मैन से मैन तो बनो, है ना, तब डिवाइन मैन की बात करना। So first this awareness, okay, what is going on in the thoughts, what is going on in the craving section, the desire and demand section, feelings में क्या चल रहा है, so that first disentanglement है ना, or at least just watching, just being aware कि अंदर माजरा क्या है. So first he has this intuition of himself as someone observing the action of the mind, looking at our own manipulations which we are not aware of. कहना कुछ चाहते हैं, बोलते कुछ और तरीके से हैं, खुद को ही नहीं पता होता, तो एटलीस्ट पता तो चले कि अच्छा ये चल रहा है. It is something which is going on in him and yet before him as an object of his regarding knowledge. This self-awareness is the intuitive sense of the witness Purusha Sakshi. And how amazing is this वैसे, चाहे हम कितने भी ऊल जलूल हरकतों में एंगेज रहें, what he shares here is that this witness Purusha is a pure consciousness. This remains pure. है ना, वो देखने की आपकी जो शक्ति है वो चाहे 10 साल से नहीं देखा, बट अगर अब देखना शुरू करो एंड देख ही रहे हो, ऐसा भी नहीं कि 10 साल से देखा नहीं, मतलब बैकग्राउंड में तो चल ही रहा है. बिकॉज हाउ डू आई नो दैट आई वॉन्ट समथिंग? बिकॉज आई नो दैट आई वॉन्ट समथिंग. सो दैट नोइंग इज ऑलरेडी एज बैकग्राउंड, इट इज ऑपरेशनल, बट कॉन्शियसली इट इज, आई एम नॉट अवेयर ऑफ इट. है ना, तो और जब अवेयर होना शुरू करते हैं तो वो जो अवेयरनेस है और दिस विटनेसिंग प्योर कॉन्शियसनेस एज इफ दैट इज अनटच्ड, है ना, वो उस पे दाग नहीं लगा, चाहे एक्शन कितने भी हमारे दागी हो. So witness Purusha is a pure consciousness who watches nature and sees it as an action reflected upon the consciousness, like reflection of moon on the lake, or that sees it as an action reflected upon the consciousness and enlightened by that consciousness. And enlightened by that consciousness means that I know of that action because of my consciousness. है ना, अच्छा मैंने सुबह ये वर्ड बोला जो कि गलत था. हाउ डू आई नो? बिकॉज दैट एक्शन हैज बीन इल्यूमाइंड बाय दैट कॉन्शियसनेस विच वाज वाचिंग, reflected upon the consciousness and enlightened by that consciousness, but in itself other than that.
ये जो थर्ड लाइन है, and yet before him as an object of his regarding knowledge, या फिर तो इसके बाद कॉमा हो जो कि नहीं है, तो what is it? Yet before him got it as an object of his regarding knowledge.
आई थिंक जो मुझे दिख रहा है, अगेन पता नहीं क्या है एग्जैक्टली, तो ये समझ में आ रहा है कि जैसे first he has the intuition of himself as someone observing the action of mind. Clear? It is something which is going on in him, so I know that something in me is observing. It is something which is going on in him. And yet there is also an observation of an observation.
Regarding this knowledge.
हाँ, ये मुझे लग रहा है. And yet that observation which observes the actions, even that is being observed. So yet before him, वो observation भी as if it's in front of me as an object of knowing, है ना, and we actually can go further and further, no, है ना, इसमें.
Got it.
That's what it feels.
Sentence creation that was confusing. Yeah. Perfect.
Yeah. Pure consciousness who watches nature, sees it as an action, enlightened by consciousness, but in itself other than that, other than it. To mental Purusha, nature is only an action, a complex action of discriminating and combining thought, of will, of sense, of emotion, of temperament and character, of ego feeling, which works upon a foundation of vital impulses, needs, and cravings in the conditions imposed by the physical body. But it is not limited by them, since it cannot only give them new directions. देखो यहाँ पे वो self mastery वाला आया ना, है ना, कि since I can look at the action, I am more than that action or the desire or the demand, and hence I can also have a little control over it. I can give it, जैसे अगर मैं thought को देखूं बार बार गलत direction में जा रही है, तो I have the power that I can turn it into some, helpful direction. So, but it is not limited by them, since it can not only give them new directions and much variation, refining and extension, but is able to act in thought and imagination and in mental world of much more subtle and flexible creations. And that is why it is more than all that, it is not limited. अब जैसे visualizations work, for so many of us, affirmations, visualizations. So that's where we are able to give our life a new direction, है ना, कुछ जो एक पुराना पैटर्न चल रहा हो, अगर ठान लो, है ना, विल की भी जरूरत है. But it is not limited by them, since it can not only give them new directions and much variation, refining and extension. And again, for example, if I'm running and I want to be a better runner, so I, observing how I run and where I make mistakes, I can again refine. And just same for if I'm speaking, I'm looking at myself speaking. So usme, using that observation, I can also use maybe less words which are not helpful. I'm just blabbering them out, है ना? Or I can give greater pauses if I feel that pauses are little, I'm speaking too fast. So that refining is possible only because of this part which is able to observe, which is more than the action.
On a physical level also, like when we are doing something which is beyond our regular doing in the physical only. Say if I'm doing 10 Surya Namaskars, that's what my body is capable of. And if I'm being asked to do 25, so the push that comes is from the mind. Just do it, no quitting. And how it can force the body, the physical, to exceed itself. And when it exceeds, it seems that capacity to think. But while I'm on the 10th and when I'm being asked to do it 11th, it seemed, oh my God, I can't do it. So it's really strange, like the power the mind has and how it decides कि physical का हो गया या नहीं, अभी और कर सकता है. Again, talking very superficially abhi, but yet it's very, very, I don't know, concrete, the influence it has.
And I don't think it's superficial. This is what, when mother says that mind has to be the master, reason has to be the master. Because it has the capacity which we usually are not using. It has the capacity to train the body. It has the capacity to train the emotions. वो हम यूज ही नहीं करते. हमको लगता है नहीं ये तो मेरी आत्मा की इच्छा है, तो वो नहीं पता लग रहा कि एक्चुअली ये मेरी डिजायर्स हैं जो मुझे रेगुलेट करनी है ना.
Yeah. Yes, in the beginning when we were talking about that sleep needs to be, you need to sleep. I mean, as in to give the body rest, and there's a specific number per depending on how the body is. And yet, like we were discussing, when the mind says get up, it must. And then if it wants to sleep again, that's
totally. At one point mother says, मैंने आपको शेयर किया था शायद पहले कभी, mother says कि I never understood it that once I say that okay I have to be up at this time, how do people manage? She said that I don't know how do people do that, that they once they decide they don't get up. I don't understand that, something like that mother said. But that's what our
No,
life is.
since we are here, I think I would like to talk about
Hmm.
since I've had that back issue. They say if today I woke up at 5:55, sorry 4:55 maybe, just to see कि time ना निकल जाए and all, and my body felt absolutely rested. Like at that moment, I could have gotten up, and I've been trying to get up, you know that. And I said, okay, the alarm is gone, and get up. And somebody listens, he acknowledges, and then he's like, हाँ हाँ अभी, and gone. उसके बाद फिर maybe 15 minutes के बाद I'm like, get up. Like I never had this in general much before. So unless I have an aim that why do I need to get up, it's not listening. मतलब, which is very interesting also to observe कि क्या जड़ता है कि मतलब
नो,
क्यों
आई
नहीं.
थिंक टोटली। अब जैसे या तो हमारा कोई सेशन हो, है ना, इफ यू
हाँ.
आर गिवन टाइम। अब आप देखो ना, इसी से पता लगता है हाउ मच वी वैल्यू गिविंग अवर सेल्फ टाइम एंड ऑल्सो गिविंग अदर्स टाइम। इसमें वी हैव डिफरेंसेस, है ना। तो अगर किसी ने मुझसे सुबह 4 बजे बात करनी है, यूजुअली इट इज सीन दैट आई गिव दैट मोर इम्पोर्टेंस, है ना। तो मैं 3:55 या 3:45 मेरी नींद खुलनी शुरू हो जाएगी, क्योंकि किसी को टाइम दिया हुआ है। मेनी पीपल मे नॉट इवन डू दैट, बट आई थिंक मेनी ऑफ अस डू दैट।
Yeah.
बट इफ आई गिव माई सेल्फ टाइम,
Mm,
विच आई मस्ट गिव, मतलब मैं अपना भी तो डिसिप्लिन कुछ होना चाहिए, अपनी लाइफ होनी चाहिए,
mm,
दैट आई थिंक दैट वी नीड टू कल्टिवेट।
mm,
क्योंकि मोस्टली हमारा अपने साथ जो एक फ्रेंडशिप कह लो, या एक अपने को रिस्पेक्ट करना, ऑनर करना कह लो, है ना, वो इट इज नॉट नेचुरल विद एवरीवन, बिकॉज ऑफ वॉट एवर कंडीशनिंग इन लाइफ, चाइल्डहुड ओरिएंटेशंस। बट इट्स नॉट नेचुरल, वी डोंट कंसिडर अवर सेल्व्स ऑनरेबल, वर्दी इनफ दैट ओके, अगर मैंने बोला है कि मुझे 4 बजे उठना है, तो मुझे 4 बजे उठना है। मुझे किसी को बताना थोड़ी ना, दिखाना थोड़ी ना, मुझे उठना है, अपने लिए उठना है। तो आई थिंक फॉर दैट इट कम्स नेचुरली फॉर सम ऑफ अस, मे बी पास्ट लाइफ प्रिपरेशन, and to some of us I think maybe gets cultivated within this lifetime, है ना, has to
But
be
it's
worked up.
interesting that it keeps changing. Like there would be a phase in which it will like get up and you are up. And then there is a phase, especially like I told you, because in that period I lie down a lot, right? Bed rest. So
Yeah,
maybe that aspect is a rest that
हाँ,
it
बिल्कुल।
has. Oh, it doesn't listen. मतलब
देखो,
it has,
ये
मतलब
पैटर्न,
something mental
इनर्शिया,
weakness or inertia.
हाँ, मुझे लगता है मोमेंटम है। देखो, अब वो पैटर्न सेट हो गया विच वॉज एट दैट टाइम बेनिफिटिंग यू,
Yeah, yeah,
है ना।
that
अब यही तो प्रॉब्लम है हमारी, ये मतलब इसे ही तो इनर्शिया कहते हैं, कि वो लैग पीरियड जो है। अब देखो, मेंटल में लैग नहीं है ना। मैंने आपके बारे में सोचा एंड हियर यू आर इन फ्रंट ऑफ मी। फीलिंग्स में भी एक लैग हो सकता है, बॉडी में तो जबरदस्त लैग है ना। द डिस्टेंसेस आर फार अवे, एंड मतलब, है ना, इट एंड सोचा मैंने उठ जाऊं, सोचा, देखो सोच हम सब लेते हैं, कर सब नहीं पाते बिकॉज ऑफ दैट लैग, और उसी
And
को
you rightly
कल्टिवेट
said
करना है।
now, I think that you hit the hammer on the nail. Hey, there's something in me which is still not realized क्योंकि तब beneficial था और अब खत्म हो गया है.
अब खत्म हो गया,
Because
हाँ।
100% ना मेरे को ऐसा फील हो रहा था कि कहीं पे ना अप्रूवल नहीं मिल रहा. एक समथिंग इन मी जैसे होता है, चलो छोड़ दे. But there is something which is saying it's all right. And I couldn't pinpoint what that something was. If what in me would say it's all right, but there is something which says it's all right, otherwise how is it possible? वो जो होता है ना, which we talk about कि हम reality check नहीं करते, है ना, हम
एग्जैक्टली,
ignore that
एग्जैक्टली, या
कि अब क्या सिचुएशन है, कि अभी
बिल्कुल।
चाहिए, नहीं चाहिए, 2
और
महीने हो
सेम
गए.
चीज वही, जैसे वो बुद्धा वाली बात करते थे ना, बुद्धा एंड द कैट, है ना, वो तब बेनिफिशियल था क्योंकि वो कैट लॉइटर अराउंड करती थी, परेशान करती थी। अब वो पैटर्न ही नहीं छूटे जा रहा।
या उस टाइम पे इतना स्टूपिड लगता है कि हाउ कैन पीपल फॉल फॉर दैट, है
हाँ
ना?
हाँ या
It wasn't Buddha, it was just a meditation teacher.
अच्छा
Like,
अच्छा। सो दिस इज व्हाट आई थिंक where right now patterns rule us, है ना, and although we create patterns but then we become गुलाम to patterns, not even realizing that okay भैया इसका काम हो गया, अब खत्म।
हो गया।
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. अब मैं I'll go and sleep again and then I'll get up at 4 a.m. Let me go and experiment whether I can get up at 4 a.m. or no.
Good one.
Good one?
Okay. Charged. मतलब इसमें बड़ा एक वो भी है कि हम ना जब पैटर्न्स अपने लिए बनाते हैं तो काफी बार ऐसा होता है कि वही, क्योंकि ईगो कैन जंप बैक एट एनी टाइम, है ना, एंड क्लेम थिंग्स। एट टाइम्स वी फील सो प्राउड अबाउट अवर पैटर्न्स, देखो सुबह मैं तो 4 बजे उठती हूँ, है ना, मतलब। और ऐसा मतलब वो ये नहीं पता लग रहा है कि वो पैटर्न अब मुझे रूल कर रहा है कि अब भैया मेरे पास ऑप्शन ही नहीं है कि मैं अब 4 बजे ही उठ सकती हूँ, और कोई ऑप्शन नहीं। सो टू बी एबल, जैसे श्री अरविंदो का बताते हैं, जैसे ही यूज टू स्मोक सिगार, है ना, एंड वन डे फाइन डे ओके यू डोंट वांट इट, नो नीड। तो टू बी दैट, हैव दैट काइंड ऑफ मास्टरी मस्ट बी पॉसिबल, कि जब जरूरत है तो एकदम से हमने डिसिप्लिन क्रिएट कर लिया, और जब नहीं है जरूरत तो डिफरेंट वॉट एवर, है ना।
And this is really weird that I've been wanting to ask myself that who kya hai? And yet, that blindness that we talk about, either the probing wasn't obviously deep enough, it must be at a superficial level, but I was unable to see this कि I have not been able to let go of क्या मुझे rest चाहिए. That when you see it feels very weird कि इतना obvious था ना, मतलब but that blindness, that veil, like sometimes I feel a dullness of the mind when I'm trying to inspect कि क्या हो रहा है. It seems like I don't know, a superficial imposed dullness कि ना दिखे ना पता चले पैटर्न बना रहे. That I don't know whether it's something specific to me or there is something which is trying to dull when you want to probe. Moving on, I think enough reflection on my dullness.
अब देखो ये फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी की बात कर रहे थे ना, सो अगेन इन थॉट इमेजिनेशन वी हैव सटल एंड फ्लेक्सिबल क्रिएशंस, बट कम हियर, इधर आ जाओ। तो अब मुझे याद है एक बार जब आनंद छोटा था ना, ही वाज राइटिंग और मे बी ड्राइंग समथिंग, आई हैड शेयर्ड विद यू। सो ही वाज सेइंग कि मम्मी बॉडी मेरे माइंड की बात नहीं सुन रही है। वेरी लेट आई रिकॉग्नाइज, मैंने कहा अच्छा, ये माइंड में आपके वेल फॉर्म्ड कुछ आ रहा होगा, बट बॉडी अभी उसको फॉलो नहीं कर पा रही है क्योंकि मोटर स्किल्स डेवलप नहीं है, वॉट एवर, है ना।
It's really interesting, you say, because even say if I would want to sketch, ऐसे लग रहा है कि मेरे को पूरा दिख रहा है कि कितना है ना, बट जब मैं करती हूँ इट्स नो वेयर क्लोज. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मतलब इट्स एज इफ कि देयर इज अ परसेप्ट, जैसे मैं आपको वो डलनेस की बात कर रही थी ना, यहाँ पे भी देयर इज समथिंग व्हिच हैज नॉट येट बीन डेवलप्ड. मतलब ऐसे लगता है मैं माइंड से हाँ मेरे को समझ आ गया. Same thing I feel when we listen something, we hear something, and it's a concept. Okay, breath work concept, concentration concept, silence concept. The mind says, I got it. But the physical is so not there, it doesn't let you. Even the mind doesn't let you say silence की बात करें तो. But this lag between understanding or yeah, दिख तो रहा है, why can't I draw it exactly like it? And there are some who can, right? Like you can just copy it as it is, do observation और इतना अच्छा command है. It's interesting this lag and dullness. Yeah.
Yeah, बिल्कुल. And I think that is why cultivation की बात आती है ना? If we want to learn any skill,
Hmm.
कल्टिवेट करना पड़ता है ना, डिसिप्लिन बनाना पड़ता है, प्रैक्टिस करनी
Hmm.
पड़ती है. एंड जिन लोगों का अभी नेचुरल दिख रहा है, वो अभी हमें
Hmm.
नेचुरल दिख रहा है, बट हमें क्या पता है ना कितनी पहले की मेहनत है.
Ah.
हाँ.
Ah.
But also there is an intuition in the mental purusha of something larger and greater than this present.
फ्रीजर में जगह नहीं है फ्रीजर में जगह
Yeah, where was I? But also there is an intuition in the present, in the mental purusha of something larger and greater than this present action in which he lives, a range of experience of which it is only a frontal scheme or a narrow superficial selection. So वो जैसे मुझे लगता है आइसबर्ग होता है ना, आइसबर्ग का एक टिप होता है और एक इतना सारा बड़ा पोर्शन नीचे कहते हैं ना, समथिंग लाइक दैट. और यही आगे जैसे ये कह रहे हैं ना, दिस इज व्हाट subliminal self, you know, what he shares, that there is a such a vast greater self which we are not aware. That is what he refers to as subliminal. By this intuition he stands upon the threshold, this intuition that there is something greater and vaster which I'm not aware of. By this intuition, he stands upon the threshold of a subliminal self, which with a more extended possibility than this superficial mentality opens to his self-knowledge. A last and greatest intuition is an inner awareness of something which he more essentially is. Something as high above mind as mind is above. Wow, how amazing is that? Wow. This inner awareness is his intuition of his supramental and spiritual being. मतलब पता है कि कुछ है, वो नहीं पता कि क्या है, but just a moment. I think वही बात है, जैसे we as if we know that there is a greater kind of a life possible. This can't be it, है ना? At one phase of life, this कुछ जैसे खुजली कह लो, है ना? It starts to develop. मतलब कैसे पता, हमें कैसे पता, जब हम ना जरूरी है कि वो हमारा ही पार्ट है, तभी तो उसका है कि कहीं कुछ है. Even when we look for happy endings in movies, you know, many of us want that and want to see happy endings, although at some level we know that okay, this is maybe not it, but we want happy endings. So किसने बताया हमको कि happy endings possible हैं? है ना, some greater harmony, greater love may be a possibility. This is really beautiful, ये जो last वाला है. A last and greatest intuition is an inner awareness of something which he more essentially is, something as high above mind as mind is above the physical life and body. This inner awareness is his intuition of his supramental and spiritual being.
Hmm.
और कैसे हम इसको आया गया भी कर देते हैं कि अच्छा भैया ये सब नहीं होने वाला, ऐसा कुछ पॉसिबल नहीं है, तुम अपना समोसा खाओ, जलेबी खाओ, है ना? मतलब हम इंसान हैं, ऐसे ही हैं जैसे हैं. सो दैट ऑल्सो हैपन्स इन अवर स्टेजेस ऑफ लाइफ, दैट वी negate it and are cynical about a higher life.
I think वही जो आप कल्टीवेशन की बात कर रहे थे ना, और लाइक मदर सेज दैट वी हैव ऑल हैड एक्सपीरियंसेस, है ना, बट वी जस्ट हम रफा दफा कर देते हैं. वी डोंट होल्ड देम लाइक एज वी होल्ड अ सॉलिड थिंग. So like I said in the beginning, right? Awareness. If somebody asks me, are you aware that this is a possibility? I would be like, yeah. But वो मेरी जिंदगी में कितना उतरा हुआ है ना? That is my attention to it. कि yes, if I'm doing something and I'm saying, okay, I've offered it to mother, but my brain keeps saying कि but उसका तो कितनी बार I'm able to say कि I've offered, I don't want to go there. I've already offered, right? Like, वो मेरी strength है of my offering. If a mental thing or a feeling is rising, I can say offered. We are not going there. है ना, मतलब मैं उसको कितना factually real बना रही हूँ अपने उस faith को, उस offering को, is reflection of how much reality or truth or whatever I am giving it.
आई थिंक एक्सपीरियंस होने लगता है तो फिर इट बिकम्स कॉन्क्रीट, है ना. इट्स अब जैसे मान लो मेरे सामने कुछ ऐसा पड़ा है जिसको मैं एक्चुअली में आई वांट टू लेट गो. If I just keep saying, oh, I want to let go, I have kept it aside, then that doesn't work. I will slip because there is nothing else that is fulfilling me. जो कल हम इंस्टेंट ग्रेटिफिकेशन की भी जो बात कर रहे थे ना, तो वही कल्टीवेशन की बात है कि इफ आई स्पेंड सम टाइम देयर एंड इफ आई get rejuvenated, refreshed, charged, and that becomes my battery as if, है ना, चार्जर, तो फिर उस पे जाने की संभावना कम है. संभावना तो फिर भी है बट कम. और अगर जाओगे भी तुम शॉर्ट ड्यूरेशन के लिए जाओगे फिर वापस, क्योंकि उसका टेस्ट डेवलप हो रहा है ना. और अगर मैं सिर्फ ये करूं, उसको हटाती रहूं, तो फिर वो काम नहीं करता, बिकॉज देर इज नथिंग एल्स विच इज फुलफिलिंग. So fulfillment has to come from where it will come, either from here temporary gratification जो हम कल बात कर रहे थे, और मे बी a new cultivation that नहीं, अब या तो चाहिए ही नहीं बट वहां से नहीं चाहिए, है ना. या तो चाहिए ही नहीं, अच्छा मैं एम्प्टी रहने के लिए तैयार हूं, अच्छा अभी कुछ नहीं मिल रहा, कहीं से नहीं मिल रहा. सो टू एंड्योर दैट फेज जहाँ पे आपको एक्चुअली में, एंड वी हैव फेजेस वेयर कहीं से अभी नहीं मिल रहा, ना ये कल्टीवेशन शुरू हुआ है और ना अभी ये पूरी तरह से जा रहा है, बट उधर जाने का भी मन नहीं कर रहा. दिख रहा है कि जा सकते हो बट जाने का मन नहीं कर रहा, है ना. एंड देन एज इफ देर इज अ ड्राइनेस, पीरियड ऑफ ड्राइनेस कह लो, व्हाट आई डोंट नो हाउ विल वी कॉल इट. बट अब ये ठान लिया कि उधर नहीं जाना. ना मिले तो ना मिले, है ना, रिक्तता मंजूर है बट वहां नहीं जाना. एंड देन इन सम टाइम दैट रिक्तता डेवलप्स इनटू समथिंग एल्स, दैट एम्प्टीनेस डेवलप्स इनटू समथिंग एल्स. और मुझे लगता है यही पीरियड्स ऑफ रिक्तता हैं जो हमसे बर्दाश्त नहीं होते, एंड वेरी सून वी गिव इन टू द ओल्डर वंस, और मे बी समथिंग न्यू बट सिमिलर टू द ओल्डर वन, क्योंकि वो बर्दाश्त नहीं हो रहा, वो खालीपन, सूनापन। और एक्चुअली में इतनी बार मेंशन है कि एक्चुअली में इन सूनापन ओनली यू गेट इन टच विद, वो अलाउ तो करो, सूनापन हम रहने ही नहीं देते। मतलब अपने दोस्तों को भी ये बोलते हैं, भाई इतना मायूस क्यों है, चल बाहर निकल, ये कर वो कर, है ना। तो वो मायूसता को हम रहने नहीं देते, उसको, उसका रूप बदलने में जो टाइम लगता है उसको देते ही नहीं है वो टाइम। आई थिंक क्योंकि शायद ये भी है दैट वी कीप कंपेयरिंग अवर सेल्व्स टू व्हाट वी वर बिफोर, so active, so everything, you know, excited about shopping, this and that. तो उसके कंपैरिजन में जो ये रिक्तता है वो ऐसा लगता है कि am I sinking into depression, you know, क्योंकि उसके अलावा कुछ दिखता नहीं है। तो it actually I don't know, maybe they call it dark night of the soul, मुझे नहीं पता, but you know that before you touch that deeper treasure there comes a time which is like a darker phase.
एक्शन में फॉल्स परसेप्शन ऑफ फुलफिलमेंट या जो डूइंग से एक वो मिलता है ना, वो अपने में बहुत एक इल्यूशनरी चक्कर है ना। लाइक मदर सेज इन द पैसेज वी हैड read in Sunlit Path, a lot of time it's like we have a cup with water and all we are doing is stirring the water. Nothing is happening but it gives us a sense of अच्छा मैं कुछ तो
कर
कर
तो
रही
रहे हैं,
हूँ।
हाँ, या
तो वो करना एक्चुअली में it gives me a sense of importance. मतलब I touch that space again and again, कैसे लगता है कि हाँ, मतलब when I'm busy it gives me a sense of false, I don't know, कि I'm doing good, you know, see, मतलब
and
something
hence I
must,
am, hence I am something.
yeah, give
हाँ,
a false sense of being someone. Yeah, exactly.
मतलब ये बर्दाश्त नहीं होता कि क्या हम कुछ भी नहीं है, कुछ भी नहीं कर रहे।
मतलब मेरे होने के लिए जो करने पे एक मेंटल फॉल्स डिपेंडेंसी है ना, कि जैसे वो एक आई थिंक हमारे बेसिस में ही आ गया ना, आई थिंक देयरफॉर आई एम, हाउ स्टूपिड in itself that statement is, and yet how revered is, right? वही कहीं पे I do therefore I am, I think therefore I am, and it all has to be outside.
या
तो यहाँ पे you were talking about Sri Aurobindo की 4 years का साइलेंस, पता कितने years किए हैं ना नॉन इंटरैक्टिंग, और कर वो रहे हैं और हम चक्कर काट के बोल रहे हैं, है ना। मतलब देखो मैंने ये बरामदा 50 बार श्री अरबिंदो का सामने से साफ कर रहे, तो मैंने कर रहे हैं ना, वो तो 7 दिन झाड़ू मारे। तो आई गेस वहां पे भी देयर नीड्स मोर लाइट, है ना, कि कर तो रहे हो बट हो क्या रहा है।
या मेरे को बार बार वो वाली लाइंस आई थिंक दे कम टू मी ऑफन एंड इवन मोर, जो इन दिस रेफरेंस ओनली, जहाँ पे वो कहते हैं ना, when the inner lamps are lit and the cherished guests are left outside, that is the time when something true can happen. So to give more time to that.
This also reminded me that when I had gone to meet Acharya ji once, like I think twice I went to meet him and he was like, हाँ बताओ. So I had agendas, क्योंकि ये इस पे लाइट चाहिए, तो he gave it. The third time I went, he was like, हाँ बताओ. I said, I don't know why I'm here. Matlab, I just am here, no agenda. And then I saw an excitement on his face that I didn't see the last. And he said, "हाँ, अब बात बनेगी." Matlab, this, like, I have no agenda and yet I'm here. So now you give me light to whatever you want to. So, I mean, not that I remember what she said. And yet I saw that excitement, right? That there's something which is bigger than the last two times or different. So while you were sharing, suddenly I was reminded of that case. Yeah.
So maybe आज यहीं तक कर लेते हैं सिर्फ, है ना? 6:34. नेक्स्ट वाला थोड़ा लंबा है, नेक्स्ट ले लेंगे 6:34.